Hello, my lovelies. I know you watched my video on how to make celery juice, or if you haven't, it's gonna be right here. But if you have, thank you. So, without further ado, let's talk about why I drink celery juice, why I have been drinking celery juice, and why I stopped drinking celery juice and came back. Let's go. So, what made me go on this long-term journey of drinking celery juice for 2 years? And let me tell you, you gotta have some very valid, respectful reasons in order to do that. Let me tell you. And mine was nonetheless very respectful. I went on celery juicing and I got introduced to Anthony Williams when I had my terrible eczema. I had such a terrible eczema that thinking about it makes me very upset. I was covered in red. For those of you that do know eczema, it's a skin condition where you get rashes, they're itchy, you can't sleep some of the nights. It's really bad. Don't want to go into details because I am going to make an eczema video separate from this. So I don't want to bore those that came here for the celery juice journey. So I had a severe eczema, and that's why I went on celery juice. I got introduced to celery juicing through Anthony Williams, and he's absolutely marvelous. I've read all his books. They're absolutely great. I love him. I love what he did. I love his research. And so I decided to give it a try. Anthony Williams talks a lot about not just celery juice, but changing your diet to a more, I would say, vegan diet, and more monomeals is the word I want to use. And when I say monomeals, he's for eating more whole foods that have a lot of energy, eating foods that are organic, eating, nothing processed, everything sort of, steamed or even baked. No oils of any sort. I think he's even against avocados, but I'm not sure about that. So I went onto this journey knowing that I'm going to give it a try. I did his cleanses and I did his way of eating for about a month, you guys. Not longer than that. I couldn't do it longer because it was really hard to keep up with the 4 kids, with hubby's diet, and then to have my own on top of that. So I mixed and matched my diet, and I wouldn't say that I followed him to the dot, but I did follow a lot of his rules, and I before I started the celery juicing, I was raw food and I was a vegan and vegetarian, and so for me it wasn't that hard to kind of follow his guidelines on food because I have such a big background on being a raw foodie and vegetarian and vegan. So I wouldn't say that it was hard for me. The celery juicing, I started doing every single day, like he says. And at the beginning when I started doing celery juicing, sorry guys, just really want to drink this and keep going. When I started doing the celery juicing, I did it the way he says. And the way he recommends doing the celery juices is drinking, I believe 18 or 32 ounces of water with lemon before you do the celery juice. I think half an hour before, something like that. But you guys can look it up. I am going to have a link to Anthony Williams if you wanted to look that up and look him up. And so I did it exactly the way he recommended, with the water before the celery juice, then celery juice. Then after the celery juice, he recommends not to eat until about noon, and then start your meals at noon. And hopefully, and actually he says the meals that you start with should be light, like a smoothie, or maybe some fruits, something that's easy for your system to digest. And then after, as the day goes by, you have a nice meal, like maybe some steamed potatoes with salad, with veggies, and so on and so forth. You guys can look him up, but it is a very stingy diet in the sense that it's not very flavorful. There's obviously no going out or eating out because everything is very mild, not a lot of salts. A cleanse is a cleanse. You gotta go low on food, high on minerals, and that sort of thing. So I started following his guidelines the way it is for about a month. After a month I changed it around, but I was pretty strict with my food for a while, for maybe the first 6 months, I would say. After 6 months, I started adding things and taking things out and so on and so forth. So I was trying different things, but I was staying about vegetarian, I would say. And I was staying away from processed foods, like no chips, no alcohol, no meats, and so on and so forth. And that has also helped me with my eczema. But I'm going to talk about that in the eczema video. In this video, I want to talk about how I felt in the first, I would say let's go in the first week. In the first week of celery juicing, I felt nothing, you guys. Nothing at all. I was drinking it every day, other than being a bit hungry because I also added that whole vegan diet to my system. I felt nothing. In the first month, or I should say after the first week, I started feeling more energy, which is what kind of surprised me the most. And the most prominent thing that I felt in the first 2-3 weeks was that my acne started getting better. I always have pimples. I've always had them throughout pretty much ever since I know myself. Pregnancies, not pregnancies, being young, whatever. I always have them. So I'm kind of used to having pimples here and there. I don't know what it means, but it is what it is in my life. So I've noticed that in the first 3 weeks, my pimples started getting much better, which was a really good point for me. And I just kept going. In the first months, I felt the same thing, not a lot of change. In the first 3 months, I lost weight. I lost about, I want to say 15 pounds. Lost about 15 pounds in the first 3 months. I felt great. I had a lot of energy. I had my hair with such an interesting glow, which I really enjoyed. Like my hair got a lot better. It was more curly, more shiny. My face was very glowy, shiny. I had less pimples. But there are a couple of things that also were not as great, I would say. I had my bowel movements, and I'm sorry for the details, a lot more often, which in a way is a good thing because that's what you're supposed to be. A cleanse is a cleanse, so obviously you go to poop a lot more. But some poops were just too watery, which was not the greatest thing in the sense that when I drank the celery juice after about 3 months, I had to make sure I stayed home for the first half a day. And so for those of you that are working or driving somewhere, I'm not sure how that would work, but you'd have to make sure that the first hour when you drink the celery juice, you are at home. So maybe do it super early, like wake up earlier by an hour and a half, drink your celery juice, poop, and then go to work, so to say. For some really odd reason, once I drank the celery juice the first 3 months, I needed to poop kid you not, 15-20 minutes after I drank it. Which felt good in a sense that I felt cleansed out, but it was a problem if I had to go somewhere. I had to make sure I have that time to allocate towards that bowel movement, because when it came, I just had to go. There was no waiting, you guys. So I'm just warning you if you're starting this journey. So the detox takes a long time. I canceled out all tea and coffee as soon as I started celery juice, and it was really hard the first 2 weeks. I did have headaches the first 2 weeks. It was pretty brutal. Started going away about 3rd week when I started getting better. I had energy, but I had headaches as well. So if you have headaches, it's totally normal. If in the first 2 weeks you have worse skin and worse hair and worse everything, stick to the celery juicing because that's normal too. You have to have a detox process where your body gets rid of all the toxins. And I'll be honest with you, I think my body was getting rid of all the toxins for 6 months. I'm not even joking. Because it's only after the first 6 months that I felt a stability in my body with the celery juice. And when I say stability, I mean I didn't have those weird things when I need to go poop. I didn't have any acne. I had a glowing hair. And I started having so much energy, you guys, that people would ask me how I do it. How is it that I raise so many kids, do the job, do the cleaning myself, do everything myself? And honestly, I believe this is the superpower because I have never felt so energetic in my life. Like, it was crazy. And so I did that for a while. I would say for the first year and a half, well, the first 6 months was kind of detox. And then up until a year and a half, I felt fantastic, like phenomenal. I had my great weight, everything was good. The only difference is that after about a year, I started adding all those other things, which had its own backdrop, because I think if you're drinking celery juice on a daily basis, it is best combined with vegan or vegetarian diet, because I think that on the celery juicing, I don't know what happens in your body or what happens in the mineral. And again, guys, this is totally my advice to you based on my experience. So I'm in no way, certified nutritionist or anyone. I'm just the person who did it and sharing my experience. So when I started adding meats and when I started adding dairy, and this was about a year on celery juice, I felt those same symptoms as I did when I was doing detox. I had to poop again, I had the acne and all that stuff. And I think it's because I didn't have them for a long time, and then I added those meats and dairy. Maybe it's because the celery juice is crashing with dairy and meats. I'm not sure what the process is, but I went through about 2 months, which were hard when I added back all my meats and dairy and all the stuff. But I stuck through the celery juice. I didn't stop. And so they kind of went away, I would say. It felt good after a while. So I stick to it and I kept going. Until about a few months later, I started having interesting symptoms. And that's when I started giving it a thought. I don't experience headaches, and I started having a lot of headaches, like day after day headache. And I was like, that's weird, because I'm not really a headache person. Like I don't really have a history of having headaches, and all of a sudden I have these headaches that are pretty repetitive. So I was like, this is very interesting that I'm having these headaches. And so that's the first sign that I was like, this is kind of weird. Then, funny enough, I bought a dandelion tea, and I love dandelion coffee/tea. It's really, really, really good. There's one brand that I use. I love to blend it as smoothies, make it like a mocha smoothie. I think it's so healthy for you because it's dandelion. It's just a roasted dandelion. I love to just make it as a coffee with some vanilla almond milk. So I'm a big fan of dandelion, and I bought it. And my headaches got even worse, and I wasn't sure if it's dandelion crushing with the celery juice that I drink every day, but it felt that way. So as soon as I stopped dandelion, my headaches kind of subsided. But they were still there, which I felt was really weird. And so that's the first flag that I was like, this is interesting that I have these headaches. I should give it a thought. And it wasn't like one of those harsh migraines, you guys. Don't get me wrong. It was one of those dull things on the background that I have this headache. And so there's a second red flag that kind of came up, and that was closer to the 2-year mark of celery juice, and that was sweatiness. I don't sweat, you guys. I naturally don't sweat. I can go to gym for an hour and a half and I will sweat just a tiny bit at the end. I just don't sweat in general. Or I could go for a run and I'd sweat a tiny bit. I'm not really a sweaty type of person. So when I started having these weird sweats, and when I'm saying sweats, like during the day, I don't sweat at all, you guys. I don't even use those under armpits things. I don't, because I don't sweat. And maybe it's because I'm not so hairy, but generally I don't have a lot of hair, like even on my legs or anywhere. So, and all of a sudden I started having these weird sweats under my armpits. And like when I work out, I started getting really sweaty, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And I kid you not, guys, the sweat smelled like celery. That's all it smelled like. And I felt like I'm smelling celery the whole day. And that was a big red flag for me, because I was like, why am I smelling celery? And why am I getting sweaty? Like, this is so weird. And so that was another red flag where I'm like feeling, like I felt like maybe I've done it for too long, where my system needs a break. And then my last drop when I stopped celery was that after the 2-year mark, and I still kept going through it. I still kept getting those little headaches, kept getting a little bit of sweat, but I still kept going because I thought maybe it's just another weird process of detox, and I don't know, maybe it'll go away. It didn't go away. So then I'm like, okay, something needs to be done. And so the biggest thing for me was, and the last drop for me was when after 2 years mark, every time I would drink the celery juice, I had to run to the restroom. And I mean run. As soon as I'm done with it, I needed to go run because I needed to poop. And the poop was very watery, like almost just water. That's when I thought, okay, I'm gonna get dehydrated if I go through this. Something has to give. Something is not right. And so that's when I stopped my celery juice. And that was exactly at about 2-year mark. And that was about a month ago or 2 months ago, something like that. But you guys know because I had a video where I said I stopped celery juice for now. So I stopped the celery juice and I decided to feel myself out, to feel my body and to understand it. And so when I stopped the celery juice, that's when it got really interesting because I wanted to see how I will feel. I was on celery juice for a very long time. And I'll tell you how I felt. So, the most interesting thing that happened to me, I gained weight. Maybe about 8 pounds, I want to say. About 8 pounds. I didn't gain it in a nasty way, in the sense that it came out somewhere bulging out. I gained it overall, but because I was still active, I'm always active, you know me. I'm either running or rollerblading or doing something. I just gained it overall in like my butt and everywhere else. So I can't say that I mind it. I really don't. I don't think I even care much. But that's one of the points, right? That's what happened. I gained weight. Number 2, which is the biggest thing for me and the most upsetting thing, I would say, is that I stopped having my magical energy, you guys. Like that energy where you see in my cleaning videos where I'm like a mad woman. I can like clean and do so many things during the day, you know, and do things with the kiddos and blah, blah, blah. That kind of stopped. And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it because I didn't think that it would stop that to that tremendous level, but I felt like I wake up in the morning, I do a little bit and I'm tired. And I'm like, I'm asking myself like, Rita, what do you mean you're tired? Like you're used to this. You could do like another 20 chores, no problem. And I couldn't, you guys. So that was a big thing for me where I'm like, oh my God, like I stopped doing things. And not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't do more than like a few chores a day. And I was getting tired. And I couldn't do so much in terms of physical activity because normally I could run, then I could walk 5 kilometers with kiddos or go outside or play outside or like do a lot of things. Like I'm a very active person. And then all of a sudden my activity just dropped like half or even more than half, which was a big red flag for me because like that's my productivity, you guys. That's my life. I do a lot of things during the day. That's just the way I live. And so I was like, wow, I could never believe that celery juice could do that because I was on it for 2 years and I got so used to my level of energy. So that's one thing that was like bad, I would say. My poop got normal. So that was good. Like in a sense that like normal people. What else I can say? My headaches got much better, which was another good thing because I kind of got tired. I have this one weird headache lately, which has nothing to do with celery juice, I want to say. I mean, I thought it was, but it didn't. It's this sharp pain that I get here sometimes, and that I had on celery juice, and I still have it now some days. My chiropractor yesterday said that it's only my neck that's the problem, that if I, go to her or work out on my neck issues, like she says that I have a bit of a spine twist here where it just needs adjustments, that those sharp pains will go away, but I don't know. So that I'm not gonna say, I just don't know. And so I was in debatum because I was like, okay, if I go back to celery juice, I have all those things where like I used to have headaches and I have all these poop issues and going to the restroom and sweatiness, which I don't enjoy. And actually, funny enough, you guys, after I stopped celery in about 2 weeks, no, 3 I would say, the sweatiness stopped. So it became normal, like I used to be, where I don't sweat. So that was totally due to too much celery juice in my body. So that stopped, and so I was thinking hard. I was like, what do I do? Because I do enjoy a lot of the benefits of celery juice, but I felt like I've had too much, or that my body has too much of celery, or that for my body right now, it's too much to keep drinking it every day. So what I do now, which I find myself so comfortable with, is I drink celery juice one day and I don't drink it the next day. So I guess instead of 30 days a month, I drink it 15 days a month. And I feel fantastic. I have my energy level, I don't have my headaches, I don't have my sweat. I feel good. So that's what I came to, and that's my story. And we'll see. So far it's been working out for me to drink it one day and not drink it the other day. Oh, and some of you have asked me how much I drink it. So if I felt like I'm coming off from like a Sunday where I ate a lot of bad foods, or like drank wine, or like ate cake and like steak and whatnot, and I feel like I'm, you know, when you have that feeling where your body is like, I don't want to say toxic, but like overate the day before, or like it was a holiday or something, then I drink like a 32 ounces because I feel like that will like clean me out more. But if I'm on my like regular schedule, and during the week I try to eat very healthy, very wholesome, and I avoid meats, try to do meats end of the week, like Friday and the weekend. So if I'm during the week and it's my regular week and I'm on my whole foods diet, I don't want to say diet, lifestyle, so then I drink 18 because I feel like my body is already clean enough. I don't know if this makes sense to a lot of you. It makes sense to me, and I felt good thinking that way, and it's been working out for me. I kid you not. The day when I like drink some wine and have a steak and like eat lots of bad foods, usually the weekend, and I drink 32 ounces on Monday, I feel phenomenal. But if all of Monday I eat well, like some steamed veggies, some rice, some potatoes, and then the next morning if I drink 32 ounces, I'm not gonna feel that great because I feel like I'm already clean enough from the day before. Oh my god, this guy's doing the grass outside. Like, hold on guys. You guys, I had to change spots because this guy was just ridiculous. He was right outside my window doing grass and I couldn't hear anything. So yeah, so that has been working out for me so well. And so I feel like I do 32 ounces when I felt like I overate or my body is just asking for that cleanse. And I do 18 ounces if I'm just on my regular self. And so I think your feelings on celery juice will depend on what you eat as well as how you live your lifestyle. But I'm pretty sure that whoever I spoke to who did it long term too, they pretty much share the same thing. I think a lot of people stop the celery juice too early when they're just going through the detox stage and they don't realize it. And I think the detox stage actually takes a while, you guys. Like, be prepared for the first 3 months to not feel very comfortable with it. But I think that once you're past 3 months, you will feel a big difference. You just have to live through those 3 months. For me, I felt the most energy after about 3 months and the most benefits. So I think if you can stick around through the first 3 months, then you will feel amazing. But if you're gonna quit too early, then you just went through a detox stage. I mean, it's still good for some of you out there who just wants to cleanse yourself, but to actually consume all the benefits of celery juice, I feel like your body needs to cleanse out of all the bad stuff first, and then it starts building. Like, that's how it felt for me. Because when I'm back on my celery juice right now, even though I do it every other day, I feel amazing. The amount of stuff that I get done, you guys, the amount of energy that I have, the glow, my skin is better, my hair is better, just overall feel amazing, amazing. So I will be continuing going one day celery, one day no celery. So if any of you want to know anything, ask me anything in the comments below. I always answer all the comments like within the same day. So ask me anything that you want to know, or maybe you're on celery juice journey right now. Anything that you have a question, I'll be happy to help you. I'll be happy to share anything that I know from my journey, you guys. And what can I say, you guys? Thanks for watching me. Thanks for getting to the end of the video. If you like me or I don't know, my family, then subscribe to our channel. What I do daily vlogging about our life, about how I manage 4 kids, about how we have 2 businesses that we manage, just everything daily stuff, you guys. And I do a lot of things that I feel or how I feel about products or cleansings or food or smoothies and this kind of thing. So subscribe to me. I'd be happy to see you every single day. I post a video every single day, so I'd be happy if you are part of my tribe. I'll see you guys soon.